and you hit it. Yep, you hit the Aang. Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with a VEVE OMI Definity DACAT update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. For not, welcome back. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. How's it going? Okay, so scroll down past the. I'm on the phone call. I'm telling my fans that I'm on a phone call. And then you'll scroll down till it says the number 1774 for King Elon.
Yeah.
Okay, scroll to the right.
Yeah.
And then hit buy now.
Again?
Yeah, because the first time it didn't go through, right?
No, it did. I believe it did.
Okay, when you hit buy now, what happens? Because I was gonna buy one too. Huh? No, I'm not gonna make fun of you. Also, you're on speaker, so don't. No, I mean you can. Hey, what's up, Ed Vasquez? How's it going? Ed Vasquez 4107, looking good in your hat and glasses. I also am wearing a hat, but I do not have glasses on me. They look like the sexy librarian glasses. Hold on, I have to sign into this shit. Oh my gosh. Rito. Wait. Let me know if you were able to buy it.
Yeah, that's what it said.
Because it doesn't look like it did. When you hit the buy now button, what happened? Did it say continue?
Yeah, then it said authenticate.
Okay, and after it said authenticate, you hit the little square box and then you hit buy now, right?
Well, I hit buy now and then it showed it up and then it said authenticate. And then it had me put in my VEVE code.
Okay.
Or like not the code, but like the Gmail code that it emailed me.
Oh, okay, and then you authenticated, and then what?
And then that was that.
Okay, when you authenticated, what was the next screen that you saw?
It just brought me back to like the listing. That's all it did.
Okay, so you are officially signed in with your VEVE account on that main page, right? Okay, so what you're saying is that you're caught in a loop?
Maybe. Yeah, because they just sent me another code.
Okay, so after you go on the main page and you scroll down and you hit the Aang, friend Ed Vasquez has not gotten his Charizard graded. What are you waiting for, Ed Vasquez? Get it graded. Okay, so you are, after you scroll back down, you hit Aang, you scroll and you hit buy now.
And then it sends me that. And that's what it tells me to put in.
Okay, and after you put that in,
and it just like it brings me back to like the control form.
Okay, so then what you're gonna do is you're gonna hit the 3 top dashes on the top right.
In Stacker, right?
Yep, in Stacker, and you're gonna go to help.
Okay.
And then you're gonna hit the little hand on the bottom right.
Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah.
Okay, so after you hit the buttons on the top right, the 3 dashes, when you're in the Stacker, those 3 buttons up there, and you get to the how can we help? There's a.
This is what it brings me to. It's just like it brings me to Aang. That's it.
When you hit the 3 buttons on the top right, it brings you to Aang?
No, like after the code. Like after I put the code. Okay, so then I go to help, and then like what do I tell them?
Okay, so when you're in the how we can help, on the bottom right, you should see a little hand, right?
Hand. Oh yeah.
Okay, so when you hit the hand, okay, usually respond within a few hours, hit the email thing, and then your name, the subject, your email address, and how they can help, and then just describe the situation where you are just on the that you're just tell them know you're caught in a loop. Be like, every time I go to buy something, it says authenticate. When it sends me a code and I authenticate, it takes me back to the home page. I go to buy something, and the process starts all over. And then just let them know that, and then that's it. Okay. All right, copy. I gotta go do my live, but I love you, and I'll catch you later. All right, bye now. Sorry about that, everybody. I'm introducing a bay to VEVE. This was I messaged David the other day, and this was he laughed at it. He didn't say I was wrong, though. He did not say I was wrong. I had said I have I'll show you the message that I sent him. I said, I have a new idea. Date lots of women and get them into VEVE. And I posted it on X as well. It says, I have a new idea on how to get more users into VEVE Official. Date lots of girls and get them all addicted to buying collectibles and completing sets, $OMI. Now, you don't have to date girls. Like, you can date guys. You can date the they, thems, and the zers, and the rest of the alphabet people. It doesn't matter. As long as they have a pulse and it is a consenting adult relationship and they have money, date them all and get them into the VEVE. She got the Chun-Li, which is fine. She was born in '87, and that's when Street Fighter came out, so she thoroughly enjoys that. So I sent her a little bit of OMI just now, so that she can buy Aang, but Stacker is giving her a little bit of an issue. It's telling her to authenticate stuff. It's telling her to, it's basically got her caught in a loop, so that's what you just heard me describing, having her put in a ticket. So that's what that was. Also, Ed Vasquez, yeah, get your Charizard rated, girl. Pentagon seeks $200 billion in additional funds for Iran war. If the Fed would just lower some fucking rates, we could get that bread. Anyway, so that's one thing that we have. I also am barely hanging on to the top 5 of Aang. I am like in top 5 by like 1. I need to buy more if I want to sustain my position. Aang Airbender, playful, kind, and adventurous, Aang grew up in the Southern Air Temple, where he mastered airbending at an early age and quickly outpaced his teachers. This collectible captures his early days of training that felt like play as he wraps the wind into a spinning airball and races through the temple, proving that even the future master of all 4 elements can learn through fun and creativity. What's going on, Arms Zathi? Looking jacked, looking yoked AF. So this guy named Saloni, he has bought like 14 more over the past day. Mr. Rolex got 49. Stand-up truck got 43. Vicente had 32. I was going to pass him. He saw me creeping up on him, and he's just like, nah, fam. He's got 42 now, and I have 31, and I'm number 5. And every time someone like goes to list something at like $12, someone beats me to it. So because I'll buy them all at $12. I will buy every single one of these Aang Airbenders if you list them for $12. Or how much is that? It's like 100-ish thousand OMI. 100,000 OMI. I'll buy every single one of these freaking things. Speaking of award-winning, okay, very good, very good. Speaking of things that I want to continue and buying, oh, what the heck? Stacker is giving me some issues. It just like gives me these error codes all the time, forces me to sign in all the time. I'm hoping they fix that. Anyway, different things that had sold recently. Amazing Spider-Man number 300, that's first appearance of Venom. That sold for $575. I don't know what the deal was with that. It was Mr. Squeebs. It was number 178, so it was a lower mint, because there's one up there right now for $333. Yeah, first appearance of Venom is at $133, and that's what Mr. Squeebs has. He's got it up there for that, $333. But again, he did buy like a very low mint. He's got 10 of them, got 4% of these things. Because this is an A-tier comic, there's only 250 of these, so these are very, very low. There's 10,000 mints in general, but he's got one of probably the lowest secret rare of 178. speaking of which, I do have another announcement to make. I did post it on X last night, but it's a good one. I say, oh, JKRB, thank you for the thumbs up. Saying, I'm doing something interesting. High risk lending with VEVE official NFTs, giving money to people with collectibles as collateral. I've burned 52,889 OMI on my recent purchase. Fantastic Four number 186. That's not 186. Hold on. Is it? Is it that one? Hold on. Number 186. No, it's like two. All right, hold on. I have to do something here. Oh, it is number 186. Right? I'm not tripping, right? Fantastic Four, number 186. It's not showing up, and I don't know why. All right, I'll just show you on the on this one. It should be number 186. Its first appearance of She-Hulk. Or Fantastic Four welcomes She-Hulk as its newest member. So give me a sec here. Let me Google this just to make sure. For number 186. Okay, that's not it. I'm tripping here. Let me Google first appearance She-Hulk, because I don't want to be spreading no misinformation. Okay, Savage She-Hulk number 1 is one thing. She-Hulk introduced in Fantastic Four. Okay, it's number 265. Fantastic Four number 265. It is not the first appearance of She-Hulk. It is the... All right, I hit it, and it's not doing anything. Backer sometimes is a little slow. We just gotta make sure it's... Oh my God. Let me hit it again for a third time and see. Okay, here we go. It's been the Fantastic Four welcome She-Hulk as its newer member, or as its newest member. So there's only 250 of these. This is probably a D tier comic, maybe even maybe a C tier, but I'm gonna say it's a D tier comic. I got the number 186. That is the lowest mint of this comic. Again, it's really low, a low comic, and but because it's the lowest mint number, probably worth a little bit more. So what I did, this guy named Brian McSpadden, who's on Facebook a lot, we had done a couple of deals together already where he had listed a bunch of stuff. He had mentioned to Facebook, like, hey, I'm listing a bunch of VEVE comics for super cheap. And he was. And I was just like, you know what? I'll take them all. That's fine. It's very similar to the bulk deals that I did back in Pokemon, where people would be like, I have all this product, probably worth $8,000, $10,000. Like, all right, I'll buy it for $4,000. You know, usually buy it at like half the value. It is in a bulk deal, which is something that I think will happen with VEVE at some point, where you'll be able to say like, hey, my vault is worth this much. Give me 50% of it, and you can have the whole thing. And that's what people do. Like, that's what people in my position did at Pokemon. And say like, okay, I have all of these worth about 10K, give it to you for 5K, and okay, cool. Now, why do people do that? Because most people that don't have eBay accounts, they're not really big in the, they're not active necessarily in the Pokemon thing. They don't have that trustworthiness. They don't have that name. So it's a lot harder for them to sell because they don't have the plugs into all the people. There's like, okay, here's what it did for on eBay, but I've never done anything on eBay. I've only bought some things and I don't have like the rating that you would have. So it's like, okay, cool. I will do that all day. Excuse me. And what I do is I say, okay, I'll do it. I'll do the legwork. I'll take the pictures. I'll post everything up there. I'll even do some OTC deals with people where it won't be public, it'll be private. And I'll do that all day because I love doing that. I loved going in and saying like, okay, I bought this for 20, I'm going to sell it for 40. And that was just my thing. I do believe that VEVE will have that at some point where giant whales will come in. Like, so you saw this in Pokemon where Troll and Toad, that's a big big like auction house, like a card house thing, where they would just go to random like Pokemon collectors. They go on E4, it's going on Jamar, 1987. They go on E4, they'd go on Reddit, they go on all these places. They would advertise saying like, we buy Pokemon cards. It's like those Indian stores saying we buy gold, but they're saying we buy Pokemon cards. They would go in, assess the collection, give it, here's the value that we would value it at if you sell everything individually, which would take probably months. Here's what we'll buy it for right now. And it was usually about half, maybe 60%. If you had some high tier stuff, maybe you get a little bit more. And yeah, but it also depended on which way the market was going. If the market had peaked and it was going down, you'll obviously get less. If the market was had bottomed and you see it going up, you obviously get a little bit more. But that's all contingent on what the market was doing at the time, which a lot of people didn't know. Like there's a lot of people that I remember back in the day. It's like, okay, hey, listen, here's all the stuff that you have. Here's what the last sale of it went for. And you'd be very truthful. You'd be like, hey, this, let's say like Houndoom, first edition PSA 10, you know, it last sold for $600. And that's true. You can go on the eBay sale listings, it last sold for $600. And, you know, so we're doing like, let's say like 40% off, 60% of that, you offer them that. But if the market was on an upward trajectory, you know, the next time one of those sales, it's going to go for like 750, 800. So you're getting just major discounts. And again, you had these big auction houses and these big people with like almost unlimited money. They would not unlimited. They would have in the six figures. But it'd be enough to buy these collections, 5K, 10K, 20K, you know, and they would get them at 50% off as the market was going up. So they knew that they would just be getting just epic stuff. And it was beautiful. And again, I believe that is going to happen for VEVE at some point. So long story short, the market, it may or may not have bottomed. All right, so I'm getting rid of the Fantastic Four. Anyway, I bought that for 300. I'm going to sell it probably $350, $400. So the guy, Brian McSpadden, who had, you know, bring this full circle here. He had like maybe a month ago, give or take, is like, hey, I'm selling all these super discounted prices. Like, cool, I'll buy them all. I bought them. And then he's just like, hey, I have more stuff that I didn't list, but I don't want to sell it at these prices. You know, the market's going up, which it is, as far as VEVE is concerned. A bunch of the grail, I won't say grail, a bunch of the blue chip comics that if you take a look at Sleeping Comics VEVE rank, or you take a look at the tier list that Comics and Crypto had put out, and you cross-reference those together, you could be like, okay, Sleeping has these as S-tier comics, that matches what Comics and Crypto is doing. A-tier comics, same thing, all the way down to B, C, and D-tier comics. I don't think Comics and Crypto has any D-tier comics on that list. It's the top like 250 or 150. He's got S-tier, A-tier, and B-tier. He might have one or two C-tiers. A couple of those, but there's no D-tier comics, I believe, from Comics and Crypto. But Sleeping Comics has those. If you want, I don't know why you would get like Incredible or a Squirrel Girl is a D-tier comic. I buy those because I like her. I buy it for the lols, and I buy it for the future furries that are going to come in here and are going to want her. Most likely, there's going to be a negative ROI if you buy those Squirrel Girl comics. I buy them just for the lols, and I think I will make money on it at some point just because it's not the best bet. The better bets are going to be the S tier, the A tier. But if you look at the S tier comics, Avengers #1, Giant Size X-Men #1, or Uncanny X-Men #1, you know, one of those, Incredible Hulk #181, Incredible Hulk #1. You have all of these S tier comics, and then more, Tales of Suspense, Journey into Mystery, all those that are, you could have gotten for, you know, like $5, $7. And now the commons are like $14, $18, $20. And it's not like, okay, well, that's the listing price. When was the last time one of these were bought? You know, like it doesn't matter if the listing price is $20. If the last time it was bought, it was $7. Like that's a big disconnect there. But that's not what's happening. The big thing is that all of those S tier comics, and these are common comics that have 6,000 units there. They have 6,000 available. Well, 6,000 that were minted. You do have probably several hundred, if not a couple thousand of those S tier comics that are locked away in bot accounts or people that had bought them back in the day and they're just no longer here, or they're in accounts of people that are just like, I'm just going to hold these forever. Dr. Fuse is a big one. Dr. Profit is a big one, who's now Dr. Collect. Rolex doesn't typically sell a lot of stuff. Squeebs sells stuff every now and then just so he can buy stuff back, just so he can get from the top of that OMI list on Stacker. He just bought a couple things right now. And so anyway, that guy, Brian McSpadden, messaged me, is like, hey, listen, he had a Punisher #1, or not a Punisher, no, Amazing Spider-Man #129, first appearance Punisher, and then a She-Hulk. The first appearance of She-Hulk, it's the lowest mint on that. And it's just like, hey, I'll sell one of these for like 300. I got the She-Hulk just because I like her. Probably would have been better for the Punisher. It doesn't matter. I'm only buying it as a loan to him. Like basically I loaned him $300 and he'll pay back more than that. And if he doesn't, I just keep his comics. But if he does, it's like, okay, I make that, that little bump. So this was a, normally I wouldn't have done it, especially for this, like, for that particular comic, but he has a, what do you call it? Because I've done business with him before, I was like, okay, let's do it. I trust you. You say you're going to pay back, next week. So this is a very good litmus test of somebody that has been all around Facebook, has been all around everywhere. And I'll do it for him because we've done deals before. One of the other deals we did is like, hey, I have a bunch of other stuff I'm going to list, but I want you to buy, some rare comics, like something that's like $30. So I bought 2 rare comics from him. It was, I think, X-Men #1, and it was for like $29 each. Now, I probably overpaid for those because they were rares. The rares probably should have been like $22, but I was like, okay, this is worth it if I can go in and get a bunch of these B tier comics for like under $1, which I did. So that worked out really well for me. And again, the high risk, 2 else's just sold. Whoa, one just sold for a big amount. Okay, we have a number 6620 and a number 851. How did... And then a 7640. All right, so three had sold. Oh no, yeah. Number 851, 6620, and 7640. Why did that sell? So you have 2 else's that sold for $783 total when the floor is $63. That does not make sense, and I don't know why. I don't know why that happened. Okay, it's 9085. This 9085 guy, he just bought a couple of things. I forget what other thing he got. I think he bought the Amazing Spider-Man too. No, it wasn't this one. 9085. Oh God, what the heck did he just buy? He might have bought the Strange Tales, which I'm very salty at. He did. Okay, so he bought two Strange Tales #110 secret rares, the first appearance of Doctor Strange, and he bought them. He bought number 13,499 and 20,840. He bought them, one from Mr. Squeebs, one from somebody else. So Mr. Squeebs probably only has 4 of the, he might only have 2 of these left. He had 6. I bought 2 from him. And so he has, so one of them, was sold to this guy. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, let me see if there was a deal there. And I'll see if I can get Squeebs on. Oh my God, Mr. Squeebs. Meow. You available right now? I want to see if I can get Squeebs on to see if he had anything to do with that. Because that's very, very interesting that he had that. Okay. Anyway, so Aang is not even in the top 10 anymore for the day. He is in the top 5 for the last 30 days. So okay, my lady was not able to get that in. Yeah, the top holders on this freaking Saloni has 53 of these freaking things now. All right, let's go to Aang and see how many of them have sold. I think VEVE at this point has made about $55,000. 1381. Yeah, $55,240 on this. And I just and again, like, because there's a good, how many of these, like 700 plus of the avatar Aangs, like the commons that are ready to be, you know, like bought and minted, because there's that many left. I do believe that he gets even cheaper. He might go, like, the average might be 12, maybe even $10. So I do believe he might go down a little bit more. But and if it does, again, I'll buy every single one of them at $12. And if it goes to $10, I'll do 10 and 8. I will buy every single one. Let's say the next 700 that are minted are all bought at $12, $8,400. I'll buy them all. Buy every single one of them for that. Total Golf saying Aang secret rare for the win. Oh, so do you have an Aang secret rare? So 2 of those had sold today also, the Spirit World one. I don't know why this guy Alpha 13 is selling them, because he's been buying a lot of, he's been minting a lot of these, and he's selling them. That's very strange to me. I understand, you know, buying them, hunting for the secret rare, and then selling the commons, which is what he's doing, but he's also selling the secret rare. It's very interesting. And honestly, like, Aang in the Spirit World is cool. You see him in there a couple of times. But I believe the commons will be a little bit more covered, because again, the Aang in the Spirit World, he's only in there like a couple of times. One of which I think is actually in Legend of Korra. But anyway, I don't think he ever goes to like 5. Well, the secret rare will obviously go to 500, maybe even if that. The secret rare might even go to 1,000 plus. Because there's coming from an avatar prospect, like coming from an avatar like fan. Yeah, he's scarce, but I don't know what rest of the. He's going to be really coveted, because he's going to be different depending on whether you put him next to the earthbenders, the waterbenders, firebenders, etc. But I think that's just the common. I mean, the secret rare is obviously super scarce, and people are going to have that for the flex because there's so few of them. Actually, in the Aang Spirit World, the top holder, Rolex has 5, Alpha 13 has 3, Fairman has 3, Vicente has 3, Pedro Sanchez has 2. I've seen Pedro Sanchez on there. Vicente has 3. So Vicente's been minting them, apparently. That's interesting that he's been minting them. So Aang's had 134 of his bought. Again, I already own 31. I'm in the top 5 holders of the common, but I am barely hanging on there. Like, somebody is going to go and, because again, I'm trailing by number 4 by 11, 53, 49, 43, 42. Those are all high, and I'm like barely hanging on at number 31 or number 5 at 31. And the reason why I'm not going and getting a bunch is because I'm taking a look at the partner statue right now, which is at 7.2 million OMI, which is not a ton. It's, you know, $828. If somebody lists it for 6.9 million OMI, I'm buying it. Again, you have a partner statue that you want to list for 6.9 million OMI, I'll buy it. Well, what if 2 people do it? Cool, I'll buy both. What if 3? What if 5 people? I'll buy all of them. 6.9 million OMI, yeah. You could have 10 of them. Yeah, that's fine. That'd be 69 million OMI. Comment nice down below for the 69. I'll buy them all. Again, I don't think there's going to be 10 people or 1 person that has 10 of them that's going to list for 69 or 6.9 million OMI. But again, I'll buy as much as I can. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could buy 40 of them at that point, but I'm not going to 6.9 million. Like, you know, that's like most of my OMI. I will buy back a decent amount of it. What's up, Smart Buy? How's it going, fam? Anyway, we have no shit, wrong one. We have a couple of things to go over here. We have, let me go to, all right, after Mr. Squeebs. Yeah, VEVE Meister saying exactly 5 years in today, member since 19 March 2021. I've seen a bunch of OGs who downloaded the VEVE app even earlier, some Uber OGs already in 2020. So where do we go from here? If you've been paying attention, you already know that 2 specific CEOs coined the new time frame 5 to 10 years. There were plenty of haters wishing for VEVE's death. Ironically, almost every other officially licensed digital collectibles platform utilizing blockchain tech of digital collectibles had to close their doors. VEVE is still standing, but why? VEVE was never just another NFT project, and that's exactly why it survived. The speculative NFT meta, as most crypto natives experienced it, had its run. Big IP, what actually pulled most of us in, and credit where it's due, David made licensing deals with blockchain actually work. Huge kudos to Patrick Cable from CollectChain too. He understood early what IP owners really want, and what he's building is quietly pushing VEVE deeper into real Web3 utility, even if some pursuits will never be happy. You can't take your NFTs fully off-chain. Now, you'll be able to have them self-custodied over in summer, which is a couple months away. He continues on saying, if you're reading this, you're probably part of the infamous VEVE fam community, the strongest asset in the entire collectibles industry. That's where I ultimately see VEVE, not as a niche NFT project, but as a serious player in traditional collecting going digital. Time will tell, but it's already told us a lot. I'm genuinely excited for 2026. CollectChain Marketplace, self-custody, OMI exclusive drops with even bigger burns, and more. Wow, you actually made it this far. Kudos. Let's turn this into a proper like to burn event. For every like this post gets, he'll burn 100 OMI with proof posted. Drop your join year below and let's see how much supply we can torch together. Joined February 2021. Gonna give him, so yeah. He's got 99 likes, which is pretty sweet. So he's burning quite a bit of OMI. Alpha 13 guy is a flipper, never mints, just picks from market, tries to flip for short, instant profit. Whatever he tries to mint, by all means, let's go. NFT Gem says, number of scenes in the new trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day, recreate a specific Spider-Man comics. Yes, I did see the Amazing Fantasy 15 one where he's got the thing, he's holding the guy. I don't know who he's actually saving, but he is saving someone. You do have Max Mayfield, Mad Max, I forget her, Sadie Sink, as either Jean Grey, Madeline Pryor, one of those people that's going to be, like, she is really young, so I don't think she's going to be a Jean Grey from the X-Men universe. Well, at least not the older X-Men universe. She's probably going to be a newer Jean Grey from like one that hasn't really seen her, what do you call it? One that hasn't seen her friends die, one that hasn't gone through, you know, the New World Order, you know, the Sentinel type of stuff. So again, because she's so young, she's like 20, 21, something like that. She's probably going to be just a newer Jean Grey. Either way, or Madeline Pryor, one of those two, where like you have the Jean Greys of the past, but then you also have Madeline Pryor, the clone of hers. You know, we're not sure what she's going to play. Kiwi Jezza says, "What's new, team?" Well, we've got a bunch. We've got the freaking, what do we have here? We have the thumbnail of this talking about the fact sheet, application of federal securities laws to certain types of crypto assets and certain transactions involving crypto assets. The Commission classified crypto assets into categories based on their characteristics, users and functions, and analyzed each category under the definition of security under the federal securities laws. Digital commodities. They're not security. Crypto assets that are intrinsically linked to and derive their value from the programmatic operation of a crypto system that is functional, as well as supply and demand dynamics, rather than from the expectation of profits from the essential managerial efforts of others. You have digital securities or tokenized securities. Securities, financial instruments enumerated in the definition of security that is formatted as or represented by a crypto asset where the record of ownership is maintained in whole or in part or on through one or more crypto networks. Now you have stablecoin. Genius Act stablecoins are not securities. Defined in the Genius Act as payment stablecoin issued by a permitted payment stablecoin issuer. Then you have digital tools. Those are not securities. Crypto assets that perform practical functions such as membership, ticket, credential, title instrument, or identity badge. Now the big one that everyone's looking at, digital collectibles. Digital collectibles are not securities. I feel like freaking more. You are not the father. Digital collectibles are not securities. Crypto assets that are designed to be collected and or used and may represent or convey rights to artwork, music, videos, trading cards, in-game items, digital representations or references to internet memes, characters, current events, or trends, among other things. Again, not security. So I say this. What do you think is going to happen to a bunch of the VEVE digital assets when all of the things that we're talking about are listed as not securities? And especially with the fact that, let's take a look at what happened with OrangeCloud today. Now, OrangeCloud had a rough day. OrangeCloud, because they haven't had any articles come out, they're down about 4% today, under $1. They're 98 cents. When they had news from VEVE over a month ago that the OrangeCloud technology plans to reverse merger with VEVE, they went up to like $1.48. Then a couple of weeks passed. Then you had an article saying OrangeCloud Technology Inc., they had gone back down to $1. And then OrangeCloud Technology Inc. regains compliance with NASDAQ listing requirements. That's good. Okay, cool. That's great. They were above $1 for quite a while. They had gone back down to like $1.05, give or take. Then another article comes out where OrangeCloud Technology issued an update on the proposed merger with VEVE, saying that, yes, it was delayed because we're supposed to get an update by February 28th. They said it was delayed. But in early March, they said like both sides are still committed to making this happen. They just needed a little bit more time. And once that happened, we went right back up to like $1.20, $1.30. And it's been over 2 weeks. It's been almost 17 days since that article came out, and there's been no update. And since then, they have had an article, I think a very bullish article, talking about how they are partnering with IntelSync. They announced a strategic partnership for small and medium enterprises. Using AI, and I think this partnership came from David and Dan. I can't prove this. VEVE was conspicuously absent in that particular article, but I believe that that particular partnership came from David and Dan because they're going to put AI into a lot of the stuff that they're doing. They're already doing a bunch of stuff with that. Can't really talk more about it. But that was it. Again, VEVE was conspicuously left absent in that article, and since there's been no VEVE mention at all, the stock has taken a dive. It's tanked down to under $1 again. So it doesn't matter what they have in their war chest. It doesn't matter what other articles come out, unless you have some news with VEVE. The stock does seem to be done for. And against my advice, I have a bunch of friends that are just like, yeah, I'm going to buy, and they've been buying some of this stock against my advice because we don't know what's going to happen if. There's a chance that they don't partner with VEVE. There's a chance that the deal does not go through, and then what happens? And even if it does go through, we don't know at what price we might. They want to buy ORKT, the OrangeCloud shares, because they think that, okay, well, I'm going to buy that. That means I'm going to buy VEVE stock, right? Yeah, you can, but we don't know at what price VEVE is going to IPO at. It could IPO super high. ORKT gets diluted a bunch. and whatever they put in maybe gets cut in half. Maybe it like, we don't know. Now, it is possible that VEVE launches very low, at a very, very low valuation, let's say like 10, 20 million, whatever. And then they say like, yeah, we're going to, then suddenly, yeah, whatever you buy just goes crazy, because VEVE is, the market will decide what VEVE should be valued at. And I don't know what it would be valued at. I don't know what the market's going to decide. I don't know what type of agreement they have. But again, unless you have people that are taking a strong look at the fundamentals, how much that, like, if this deal does go through, there is a couple $1 million in their war chest that VEVE gets access to. And I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to buy back the stock? Are they going to buy back OMI? Are they going to buy some of the things from the market? Like, this is, if VEVE gets listed on NASDAQ in this type of thing, I think a bunch of the digital collectibles, I was talking to a bae of mine before. She had messaged something silly. She's just like, who's going to buy me this? And she was looking at the Ride the Lightning board version 2. It was listed for like 4 million OMI. And I was just like, not worth it. Things to buy: Partner Statue, Todd Batman, Aang, a list of comics that'll give you certain prices only, VEVE logo, Secret Rare Spider-Man, Resale Batman, Miles Morales. Like there's a bunch of different things that you could buy. And the Ride the Lightning board version 2 was not one of them. She's like, I was putting here to the crazy price, not gonna buy anything right now, just playing around in there. She said I was cute. That's adorable. Call me Big Daddy. I want to use, okay. But I believe that a lot of the blue chips are going to go crazy. And that's why if we get some partner statues at 6.9 million OMI, I will buy them all. NFT gems could bring the value of Amazing Fantasy 15 comic on VEVE higher, possibly from the movie. I thought the same thing when Fantastic Four came out, First Steps, because Fantastic Four, like, in one of the scenes, it's basically the comic cover. Like, actually, in a scene, they have a montage of a bunch of stuff that they've done, and one of which was the cover from Fantastic Four #1. It was that big monster with the hand thing, and they had that in one of the things. I was like, oh, this is really cool. Where's Aang? Where's Aang? All right, let's go back with Aang here. But it didn't really do much for that. For Spider-Man, though, Spider-Man's a little different. It might. DB Crypto says DACAT. We love DACAT. DACAT is my bae. DACAT is one of my favorite things out there. Hey, Randy, how's it going? How many Aang we talking? How many are never enough? Well, first off, you look great in that photo. Never enough. I mean, again, I'm number 5 here at number 30. You know, I have 31 of them, and there's so many people that have so much more than me. And we should talk. Shoot me a message when you can, because I have a couple of, there's a scenario. There's a scenario where I get like a $50,000 check next month. Probably not going to happen. Like, there's a scenario in which I get 12.5, 12.5, 25, another 20. Yeah, like it'll come from 3 different places. But there is a scenario where I get a decent like 50K. Like, it's possible that only one of the things go through and I only get 12.5, some of which that I can use. Fine. But there is that scenario where if that happens, 100 million OMI, a bunch of Definity, a bunch of DEVVE, a bunch of DACAT, a bunch of Aangs and partner statues and other comics. I mean, we both love comics. You have an infinite amount more than I do. You have Aang? There's no way you have that many Aang. Wait. Wait a minute here. Wait 1 cotton picking minute. Because we're gonna have some stuff. VEVE tried to post something today multiple times, but they deleted it very next second. Related to USDC on Stacker, maybe buy and sell is finally coming to Stacker, not confirmed. Oh, that's it. That's possible. That is possible. I do believe that there's a bunch of stuff that's going to happen with that. But I don't know. I can't confirm though, because I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But that would be interesting. As long as it burns OMI, I'm fine with that. Again, as long as it burns OMI, that's something that we can do. That should cause the Big Daddy. Hold on. If you say so, Big Daddy. Oh, shoot. Oh, my God. Okay, hang on. Okay, so this Saloni account, which I don't know who Saloni is, but Saloni account has overtaken Mr. Rolex as the top as the top holder of Aang's. So now that forced me to buy a couple more. Do you have time for a call either tomorrow or after my stream? Tomorrow I'll be holding you tight, and there's nowhere in the world I'd rather be than here in my room, dreaming about you and me. Sorry, I love Selena. 15. All right. I have 2 sub 100s. So how many other people have that many sub 100s? Huh? Nah? There's a pant thief on the loose. When is the cat comic coming to VEVE? A couple months. I actually talked to a bunch of publishers today. And today or tomorrow. I talked to a bunch of publishers today. Well, no. I'm sorry, not publishers. Comic book store owners. And the comic book store owners are they're very hard to deal with because I haven't talked to any comic book store owner that wants more than 3 of the comics, which is like, what? So yeah, that's a big one. They don't want more than 3 comics. So I'm not gonna lie, this is why digital is the best. Direct to consumer is gonna be another thing, but yeah. I talked to a distributor as well. It's like, hey, here's all the people to call, here's all the places to call, set up stuff with them, because a lot of the comic book store owners, they only deal with distributors. Okay, cool. And what that means is that they don't talk to any, I don't say lowly people, but they don't talk to any independent artists that are like, hey, buy my stuff. They only deal with distributors, and the distributors are the one that says, okay, here's your shipment for this month. You're getting these Batman, you're getting the Deadpool, they're getting your Wolverine, you're getting your this, your that, and here's a bunch of the independent comics that you should get. So the comic book store owners, they just take it because they have to, and like, yeah, sure, we'll take these. So the best thing to do is to go to the distributors and say like, hey, and pitch it to them, and one of them is likely to do it, especially because of my following, because of the stuff that I have. So if that's the case, then I could go in and be like, hey, we'll do a larger order, because as of right now, no comic book store owner has told me, yeah, we'll take more than 3 of them. It's been like 3, and it's like, I'll drive myself crazy, like dealing with every single one of them. So the distributor is the way to go. And then obviously there'll be 2026 will be on VEVE, and then 2000 of the physical, most of which will be direct to consumer, some of which I'll actually probably sell to David so he can give it on Whatnot. I'll give him at a super cheap price for it, and we'll go from there. The proof, yep. Also, I should give credit where credit is due. K Collections was actually the one that coined the Big Daddy Chavez. So it did she was technically first, but she's just a friend. She just did that like for fun. That was a fun nickname. That wasn't anything like that. Doctor Strange, give me the salute 100. Love Jutsu. Is DACAT a midget cat? No, DACAT is he's a regular sized bipedal cat. Tonight in 1 hour? Question mark? And then I'll go through that. Anyway, I have given my. Okay, let's see what we have as far as additions. 1383. So that is $55,000. 55,320. Very good. Love it. Now let's do partner statue again, because again, this is, yeah, 7.2 million. If it goes back down to 6.9 million, I'll buy one. I repeat, if it goes back down to 6.9 million, Randy Chavez will buy one. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, let's go to DEVVE here. DEVVE is down to 3.6 cents, $3.2 million market cap, $10,000 in volume, not that much. Fias is very much on sale today, down 7% to a $1.3 million market cap. If it does go back down to $1 million, $1 million market cap, I will get some. But as of right now, it's just it's very low, but not as low as I would like it. And I have a so listen, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna front here. Fias is the company that I did put $25,000 into, and I didn't buy. I mean, I have a tiny bit of the token. It's really not anything, but because the last few years I've done exceedingly well with buying shares of companies that are startups. It's like, okay, here's some money, give me equity in the company, and let's see what you can do. DMA Link was one of them. Speaking of which, so that's the parent company of the Definity token, which is bananas because the company is doing so well into the six figures every single month what they're doing with top line revenue. And the token is like, what the heck's the token? $1.8 million market cap. Again, they're doing hundreds of thousands a month in top line revenue. And the market cap of the token is 1.8 million. That is retarded. They also have an AMA coming out next week on Tuesday, March 24th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is the time of an AMA. I'll have either Manu on here on the stream or he'll be on Spaces, but either way, that's what we're going to do. We'll be able to get an update on that, update on revenues and all that. So that's done exceedingly well. Same thing with our sister company called Bloomsbury Money. Got some shares in that. So again, every 12 to 18 months, okay, what's working, what's not working, what will continue to work, what is not working because it's dead, or what is not working because it just hasn't worked yet. So that's why I continue to DCA on a lot of the crypto, because the crypto, I believe it just hasn't worked yet. There is a bunch of companies like, again, DEVVE, Fias for one. Obviously, DACAT is mine, and DACAT is a. Actually, let me show you real quick. Actually, I do not have a. Sorry, guys, I don't. You can't see the DACAT tattoo through there. But long story short, the DACAT one. We'll go through it here real quick. It's very small. It's an $832,000 market cap, $233,000 in liquidity. I will say that liquidity is very good because there's $117,000 in Ethereum and $116,000 in DACAT tokens. So as far as liquidity goes, that's one of the best, probably one of the best out there, especially when it comes to CAT tokens. But obviously, because of the company that's behind it, we're going to raise a little bit of money later this year. We're obviously going to be on VEVE. We'll have a physical comic. We'll be on FigPin. I had a conversation with Mumbot recently. She was on the podcast about 4 or 5 hours ago. It wasn't really a podcast episode. It was just like hey, here's a quick conversation. She has first Kickstarter did like $17,000 already. It's nuts. The cat might do a Kickstarter. I'll keep you guys posted. I'll let you know from that. But long story short, DACAT's crushing it, and we'll crush it with a bunch of revenues this year. But we're currently pre-revenue, like again, pre-revenue. There's none as of yet. I'm not taking a salary, and the artist is not really taking a salary. So we're doing this like essentially for free, because again, there's no revenues yet. And with no revenues, it's at an $832,000 market cap. Whereas Definity, which is doing hundreds of thousands of dollars every month, is barely 2x what we are. That is retarded. Again, DACAT, which has zero revenue. Now, granted, we're working for free. I'm not taking a salary as CEO, and neither is the artist. And it's $832,000 market cap, just on the promise of the blue sky valuation of where we're going to go and what we're doing. Because a lot of people believe in me. They believe in what we're doing here. We're going to obviously have utilities for the token. We're going to do some buybacks and burns and all that. But Definity is leagues ahead of us as far as revenue is concerned. Hundreds of thousands per month. And they're barely over 2x our market cap. That is insane. Everyone that is selling Definity or is not buying it is taking crazy pills. And again, I have a okay amount of the token. It's in the 5 figures, but I have a lot of the DMA link shares and a lot of the Bloomsbury Money shares. Now, what does this have to do with Fias? Like, that's what I started this conversation with. Again, I take a look at startups and companies that are either innovative, that are disruptive, that are vertically integrated, which Bloomsbury Money, DMA Link, and Definity is about to be crazy vertically integrated at some point, maybe later this year, maybe early next year. That is my white whale. That's where most of my fortune is. Why I decided to put 25K into the Fias company as opposed to the token is because for the last several years, the tokens of any company out there has only gone down, whereas the valuation of the companies behind the tokens typically has only gone up. And again, that could be like, okay, well, that worked for the last few years, but what about the next few years? The next few years, it could be the opposite, where the valuation of the companies might kind of plateau and the tokens go crazy. Cool. If that happens, then that happens. But what's been working the last few years is putting money into innovative, disruptive companies with excellent CEOs that have done this type of thing before, that have a history of success. So if you want to go in and buy a little bit of the Fias company or the DEVVE company, let me know. We're not going to do like we're not even going to do like oh yeah, it's like $1,000. No, we're only going to do like in the 5 figures. If you and a couple friends want, we'll do like a Frankenstein type of valuation where it's like, okay, well, I only have 5,000, but I have a couple friends that have 1,000 each. Okay, cool. If you have $10,000 between the few, we'll figure it out. We'll get it done. But for the most part, it's only going to be like kind of the big boy stuff. And that's what we're doing. And the rounds will close soon. You will not be able to get that there'll be another funding round probably later this year, but you're not going to get it at the same valuation. You're not going to get it at the same perks. I did that because I know Tom, I know the companies, I know the technology behind it. So yeah, why I haven't gone super hard into Aang's, into the partner side, into the stuff that is because I know a good deal when I see it. This is what I do. This is what I've done for years. This is what I do all day. And I have a couple people that I've been talking to that I know that are friends. And I was like, hey, we don't need these funds. They're going to get funded at some point through other means, but I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't tell you about it and given you the opportunity. And they know my track record. And yeah, this is why I haven't sold any of my DEVVE. This is why I haven't sold any of my Fias. This is why I haven't, because I know exactly what's going on. I know the funding that they're going to get, and I know the exact, oh my God. Yeah. I know what they're going to be worth in the future. And that's why I gave them 25K. So again, none of this is financial advice. I'm just letting you guys know what I'm doing. And another reason why I have not gone super duper hard or super duper crazy on some of these on some of these NFTs, because I have given a couple. Actually, one of these. Oh, did OMI just go up? OMI might have just gone up a little bit. Let's take a look. OMI's 000117. So we were actually a couple hours ago. We were almost at quad zero. We were at like 000101. We were at 000102. That's what we touched at, and that is wild. All right, let me see if I can get Mr. Squeebs on. I might be able to. Yeah. 309. Okay. Paste. Come on for a bit. I have questions. Coolio will do. All right, my man. All right, sweet. I got another meeting after this, so that's why I'm a little nice. Dragon Ball Z. When Dragon Ball Z? Huh? When Dragon Ball Z? Anyway. There's again, because a bunch of people send me stuff all day, I see all, especially the deals on a lot of sub 100s. I also tend to know, like I just did for the Elsas and the Secret Rare Strange Tales 110. I know what wallet stuff goes to, where it comes from. And the wallets that a lot of these things are coming from are almost always unranked or not ranked. Like in the top, wallets. The wallets that the sub 100s go to are mostly ranked. It's both, but you can come on without video if that's easier. Shoot. Let's see if Mr. Squeebs can come on. It's no, not lice. It's live. Yes. Shoot. Dropping gene. Okay, very good. Basically, I see the 1% scooping up sub 100s. It's the same thing with grails in general. This is the same thing that I saw in Pokemon and Earth 2. Oh shit, these are these tough questions? No, haha. Fun questions, Mr. Squeebs. Rich people, some of which don't even care about the hobby, come in and they buy the best of the best, and then they leave. What they buy is locked up for a long time because they don't need to sell. Scarcity right now is king on VEVE. And aside from the Secret Rare Miles Morales, I think the VEVE logo is the scarcest future grail. Now, I'm trying to get good people to buy these logos so our family can grow before hedge funds come in, buy them up so they can get close to David and Dan a few times a year at these parties. Because rich people who see the value and conglomerates will come in and offer 50%, 100%, or even 500% of what these logos are going for right now because the utility is worth it. So that's why I really like the gold and silver VEVE logo. For example, there's a buddy of mine that went to a dinner at Mar-a-Lago recently. It was $100,000 a plate. And you're not guaranteed a meeting with the president. Most times you just get a pick with like the vice president, which is cool. So what are these people going to do when they realize that their tickets to spend time every year with David and Dan involve the logo? And the rest of us are just the cherry on top. Let me go in and make a quick thing because Mr. Squeebs is about to come on. Quote, let's welcome at Mr. Squeebs. Yeah. Repost, view the post, sending the post. Mr. Squeebs is about to come on. But yeah, I feel like some here might not realize it, but the group of the gold logo holders, the fantastic assortment of characters in this network is honestly worth millions. And this is before the VEVE and OMI blows up. Like the ability to network with this group, like that we do, is just invaluable. So I love Grails like Partners, Spidey, Riso, etc. But really none of them have the utility that the logo does. Now, like, in my opinion, this is like a college scholarship. What better way to get your kids an education than get them to spend time around the people in this group, such as Mr. Squeebs? Meow, meow, meow. How's it going?
Hey, how are you, Randy?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. There's a couple of people that are talking here about they are disappointed about DEVVE and Fias right now because they're only seeing the price of the token, not what's going on behind the scenes. Booth says he loves the I'm a Dreamer, but what about you? How you doing, fam?
Doing fantastic. Doing fantastic. Yeah, you kind of caught me here, kind of caught me off guard, but I love the show so much that I couldn't say no, Randy.
Oh, thank you so much. So I was appreciate that. Freaking love it. One of the reasons why I had you on is because I was going over some of the stuff that I was buying, one of which is the Avatar Aang's. I'm in the top 5 holders of them. And I was looking at the in the most recent day, like you have the like there's Todd's, there's Elsa's that were bought, and we'll get to the Elsa's in a minute. But one of the things that was bought that was in the top 10 was a couple of Strange Tales 110s, the first appearance of Doctor Strange, the secret rares, and one of which was actually bought from you to a owner. The last 4 digits is 9085, and this person is buying a bunch of grails. So I was wondering if this person had reached out to you to do a deal with them, or if you just had one listed and he just bought it.
You know, I think, you know, if memory serves, I have a few listed.
Yeah, you do.
And yeah. So no, I'm actually not even aware. You know, I wish there was a way for Stacker to notify market participants of you know, when a transaction occurs, but yeah, wasn't aware.
Okay, so the reason why I asked is because this guy he bought a couple of Elsas recently. Actually, he only bought one Elsa. It was number 851. So it wasn't like a crazy mint. Like the average of Elsa is like $80 right now.
Okay.
But he had bought one for like $700, and it was the number 851.
Interesting.
And I looked at it, I was like, I could understand if that was a 2-digit. But it wasn't. It was a 3-digit, and he bought that, and then he bought, you know, one of your Strange Tales 110 secret rares, and then another Strange Tale 110 secret rares. So I was just wondering if you had done any deals with him, but apparently not. He's just buying random stuff.
Yeah, maybe I underpriced myself with that Strange Tales random mint there, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I noticed that I just noticed that. I was just wondering if you had a deal with him, because that was a very interesting thing that he did. Speaking of interesting things, I started doing high risk lending again, but with NFTs as collateral. Did you see my post the other day?
I did. It definitely arose some curiosity.
Hell yeah. So I just did it with this one guy named Brian McSpadden, and it was for the lowest edition number of Fantastic Four number. I think it was 165 or 185. It's basically when She-Hulk enters the Fantastic Four.
It's the 265, right?
Yeah. And it's number like 187. It's the 186. Yeah, it's the lowest secret rare for that.
Because I think I have the 187. So I was envious when I saw that 186 pop up, and I was like, this son of a bitch pulls the 186.
So I did it for 2 reasons. One is because I don't know if you did you see the She-Hulk series on Disney Plus?
I have not. No.
So I thoroughly enjoy that show. I thought it was very good. There's a bunch of cameos in there. Wong is in there. Abomination is in there. Daredevil's in there. So I like Bruce Banner, the actual Hulk, is in there. So I really like that show. but that show did horrible. Like that show, everybody hated for some reason. Megan Thee Stallion's in there. Like I thought it was really good.
No
So
kidding.
I'm just a fan of She-Hulk. So I was like, okay, listen, this guy wanted, he just needed a loan of like $300. So I was like, listen, I'll give it to you, but you know, let's do a deal, or like I'll give it to you for an NFT as collateral, where if you give me your word and you pay back, cool, you buy back the NFT, and that's no problem. But if you don't pay back, at least I can't just give you money because I don't really know him. But I was like, if you give me, if I give you the money for an NFT, now I know you have incentive to go pay me back because you want that NFT back. That's the lowest mint number of that entire series, and it happens to be a secret rare. So okay, cool. And he said, okay, bet. So we do it. So I feel like for that one, it's probably good because even if he doesn't pay back, I have the lowest mint number, and it's a secret rare, and it's She-Hulk, which I like, and a lot of other people like as well. But for you, would you ever get into business like that? Would you do something like that, or is it like too risky for you?
Yeah, I would. I would certainly. I would not consider it. Being a a high risk lender. That I mean, I guess you have to be able to have some kind of way to measure or determine or or assess risk of the borrower. But I guess doing it with somebody in the community, and it's like having it. I mean, so out of curiosity, how do you do that with the 10% or 12% really with the 2% burn? How do you work it with that then? So you kind of build that into whatever he pays you to buy it back. There's a premium on top of that.
Yeah, so he gave me a list of the stuff that he had, and I was like, do you have anything that's like a DC, anything that's only going to be like 4.5% as opposed to a 10% thing? And he's like, I don't. He's just so I had worked with him before on a bunch of comic deals. Like I found him on Facebook, where in the Facebook VEVE thing, he's just like, I posted a bunch of stuff for super cheap, and it was a bunch of B tier comics for like 80 cents, and I was like, done. So I bought a bunch of them, and he's like, wow, that was really fast. I was like, yeah, that was a good deal. He's like, okay, so maybe I should have asked for more. I was like, you probably could have got more for them. I wouldn't have bought them all right away, but yeah. And he's like, okay, well, I can do more at this price, but I want to get a little bit more bang for my buck. So could you buy, and I went to his list on Stackers, like, could you buy something that's like in the $30 range, $40 range, something like that? I was like, okay. So I take a look, and I probably overpaid for his X-Men #1s. He had them as rares, and they probably should have been around like $23, $24. They were $29. So I was like, okay, let me buy the two of them that he had, so I can get some more B tier comics for under $1. And it worked out really well. I thought that was worth it. So we have a good relationship. So for him, one, he didn't have any DC stuff that was worth that amount, and two, I'd worked with him in the past. So for that, I was like, okay, I'll buy this for 300. I don't right now, like people see it eventually. I don't want to say like what it's going to be sold for in the future, because he doesn't need it for that long. He doesn't need, like, if it was going to be like hey, I'll pay back in 3 months, I would have had like a contract that says like, okay, you're going to pay me back in the value of like what OMI is. Like, let's say if I had like I think I bought this for like 2.5 million OMI, give or take, like whatever. It wasn't like a ton, but I would have had him say like, regardless of what the price of OMI is, I'm gonna take, let's say, like 3 million OMI, back, because now it's because in 3 months things can go really crazy, and OMI could be cut in half, or OMI could do like a 5x at that point. So I just said at this point, because he said like he'll just pay me back in a week. Okay, you borrow X and you pay back Y. It doesn't matter what OMI is. Just give me back the amount of OMI that we agreed to in USD. He said fine. And it's going to be obviously more than enough to cover the 10% fee, of sell fee of all that. So I'll definitely net some money. And it was also just a litmus test. to be able to test, like, can this work? And I think it can. Because this is what I did all day back in the day for high risk lending with just dollars and the businesses. But now it's more fun because you have collateral. You don't just have a certificate of judgment or confession of judgment saying like, okay, now I can freeze the bank accounts or whatever. You know, that can get really dirty. But this I really like. But it obviously has to be something that's worth it. Like, you're not going to buy a dollar Cryptkin for $500 and expect to get paid back 600. Like, that's not going to happen. But something like this, I feel like it works. What would be your criteria for something like this? If this becomes a legit business, then it's not just a one-off thing.
It's a great question. Yeah, I think the terms would include, like the term to the term of the loan, so the length of time. I think, maybe how close you are to the person, how much you trust them, right? Like gut instinct. That's probably a terrible way to assess risk, but and it's always worked for me. But yeah, and I think if as long as the collateral is something that you think is worth more to the person that's borrowing the money than what they're borrowing, I think it's a safe bet. I mean, like this FF265 here, I think that can easily be worth $300. So I think I think he's coming back for it. He's not gonna forget. Yeah,
I think so too. So I was telling people that this is not the only thing that I'm doing as far as risk. I guess we'll start with VEVE. The ORKT shares that are on NASDAQ right now are under $1. And it's probably not a terrible idea to buy those shares right now, because those shares are probably going to be converted into VEVE shares at some point. But we don't know what the VEVE company will be valued at if the deal goes through and they get listed on NASDAQ. I guess the question to you is, like, when they get listed, depending on the valuation, what might you go in for? Are you gonna buy shares? Or you'd be like, stocks typically don't do those 50, 100x's, so I'm gonna stick with OMI, I'm gonna stick with collectibles. Are you gonna sell some OMI or collectibles for it? What are your thoughts on that?
Great questions. Well, is this thing going to happen, or I mean, do you know something I don't, or is this like an if?
On how well it should go through. The last time we got an update on the merger was about 16 days ago. They had mentioned that both sides are still committed to doing it. They just need a little bit more time to either due diligence or do something like that. They were the valuation, whatever it was. But that was 16 days ago. Then 3 days ago, they had another update saying that OrangeCloud was doing a partnership with IntelSync, which is an AI company. And because I know that David and Dan have been using some AI in either Stacker or in the VEVEverse or whatever, that might have very well been their connection that they gave to OrangeCloud and says like, hey, get this done first, and then we'll go. So I don't know. I can't prove that. But that's something along the lines where I think this is still happening, it's still in the works. I believe they'll go on to NASDAQ because they traded today at, it was like $31,000 in volume. They're under $1. They're under a $6 million market cap. And what they really need, what ORKT needs really is marketing. And the VEVE fam will go crazy with it because, again, OMI has a multiple, like a 20x, 30x volume of what OrangeCloud's was, and they're just a crypto. So I think that ORKT needs VEVE a heck of a lot more than VEVE needs ORKT, and I think they're going to be very incentivized to do that. And when it does happen, VEVE does get, or David and Dan gets access to like the $2.5 million that ORKT has in their war chest. And what can they do with that? They can do a ton with that. So I think that this will go through. I think it'll go through in VEVE's favor, but I don't know what they're going to be listed at, and that's the big question.
And it may actually, assuming this goes through, this may take some pressure off, some sell pressure off of OMI as well, to the extent that, I don't know if any of the, if David or Dan are selling or have been selling any of their OMI tokens, but to the extent this goes through, it's just provides another avenue to raise capital, and sort of freeing OMI up a little bit. So yeah, I think it could be really bullish for OMI.
I think so too.
Yeah, yeah, I really started dabbling in OMI in the last 9 months or so when I really got bullish on it. Really wasn't a believer prior to that, but I think there's a lot of things that a lot of positive developments for the coin. Going forward. So and sometimes it takes, as I know you've been a trader for quite a while, Randy. This stuff, it takes a while sometimes for ships to turn in terms of perception and tops to turn and bottoms to turn. So I think OMI's been the slow grind down, and I think at some point I think there's a lot more positives than negatives now, and I think it's just a matter of time before the perception sort of aligns with sort of where people are putting their money. Because once things start popping, it's like, then the people were selling are like, oh, I'm not selling anymore. I'm raising my sell order. I'm going to kick that up, 5 times from what, 5 times higher than where it is now, or 10 times. And, everybody sort of decides at the same time that they're going to, it's like nothing really changes all at once, but what does change all at once are people's perceptions. And so, somebody who's traded all my life and made a bunch of money and lost a bunch of money, it's like, things can turn quick, and I feel like there's just a lot more positive catalysts than there are negative. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm excited for it.
Same. I can't wait. Apparently, VEVE tried to post something today, according to SmartBuy, saying that they deleted it the very next second. Something related to USDC on Stacker. So what we're thinking is that eventually, I mean, we had heard from Dr. Profit saying that everyone that wants to trade on Stacker, even if it's in USDC, it'll still burn OMI.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that people coming, because we get 6 different wallets when we're in Stacker. You get the OMI on base, USDC on base, and ETH on base, and then you get all of those 3 in Ethereum as well. So I think that what they're probably going to try to do is say, like, everything can just be traded in ETH or USDC. You don't have to buy or sell the OMI. And a lot of it could just burn OMI. So I think that's a possibility as well. As the eyes get on VEVE via NASDAQ, via whatever, they're probably gonna, they could buy shares, they could buy collectibles, they could buy OMI. I think everyone's gonna want to diversify and say, like, okay, let me buy a little bit of each, because one thing will probably outperform the other, and then this way you have some arbitrage on there. In the case of VEVE and OMI, I know you like to do a lot of trading on Stacker, because that helps get you to be the top of the leaderboard, which you are pretty much every month. Is that an unintended consequence of doing the arbitrage, or is that something that you try for because the rewards are worth it?
Yeah, good question. I just I don't intend to post up on the leaderboard, but I think so often as it happens, I buy something here, something there, and before I know it, I'm number 3 or 4, and then I'm 3 or 4. And now I want to be 1 or 2, and so I end up being compelled to spend a bit more OMI. I think that's kind of the case too. I'm already, I picked up a couple things today and the last couple days, and now it's like, what, this is Thursday evening, and Sunday's the end of the week, and it's like, oh boy, here we go. So now I know I got to throw some more OMI in the next couple of days, and it's like I already have my eyes on a few things. I wish there was some more reasonably priced AF-15s, but alas, but there's some things on my radar. So I'll probably end up spending a bit more and just happen to be I don't know, is it Draco that's #1 this week? And I think somebody's like crushing it.
Yeah, because
they're like,
he spent 50 million on the number 2005 Aang. Which, by the way, do you
oh,
have any Aangs?
no, I haven't got into them. No, but I
Oh,
know.
you didn't watch Avatar back in the day?
No, I've watched Avatar, but no, I didn't. I didn't grab any on this drop, and haven't picked up any in the secondary either. But and you said you're a top 5 holder.
Yes, but like barely hanging on because I'm only I have 31 or now 33 of them. I think the next person is Phil Nice. He's got 29. But Phil Nice also, he just wanted the secret rare. So he minted all of his. He didn't like, and he's just like he doesn't sell. Like he's got those forever. But he's just like, yeah, I was like, you could have just gotten like a couple of the secret rares off the market. He's like, no, I wanted to mint them. I wanted them to be mine. I was like, okay, so he did, and yeah, he got them. In that same breath, I'll say that he's probably going to come in and get some, because we had talked on a space last night, and he's like, oh, like, because I was beating him, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna have to surpass you at some point. Now be advised, there are like 700 of the Aangs, the commons, that still have not been minted. This guy named Saloni is #1 at 55. Rolex has 49. Stand-up chart is 43. Vicente is 42, and I have 33. So the next one is Phil Nice that has 29. So people don't really have to spend that much. They can just go on and get stuff from the market. But I messaged David the other day, and I had said, I have a new idea. Date lots of women and get them into VEVE, because the last girl I dated, I got her into VEVE, and she's like, these are mine, and she got the Chun-Li set. I was like, babe, and she's like, what? I'm getting them, they're cute. So I was on the phone with her actually at the beginning of the stream. I was just like, okay, you're gonna get this done, you're gonna connect your stacker. I sent her some money, and she's gonna get an Aang or two. There's like 500,000 OMI, so she might get a couple of Aangs. But yeah, this is I really enjoy this. I'm gonna keep buying, but be advised that because there's still 700 left to be minted, the floor is 1368 on Stacker. This could go down to like $10. Granted, I tend to buy all of them if they're like $12. So so I got most of these at like $13, $14. I minted like 4 of them. But if they go down to 12, I'm gonna buy them. I'll buy every single one. But it could go lower, so I wouldn't go like crazy on the floor right now. And also, if you want the secret rare, you could buy those for like $200. You could try to mint them. It's whatever you want. But that's one of my big plays for the future. I have 3 partner statues, which I know is nothing compared to you that has like 20 something, right? What do you have?
20, 28, 26.
Oh my god. Oh, that's amazing. Very, very jealous. So I know a lot of your funds have gone into here. Is there any other digital collectibles platform or any other cryptos that you've gone into, as opposed to VEVE and OMI?
I mean, just Candy, DC.
Yes. Okay.
So that's like it's like the orphan child now. It's kind of lost, no home.
I think that will get bought at some point, or it'll just collapse and then someone else will buy it, because that IP is interesting. Like I think that'll happen at some point.
I mean,
have I talked to you? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it belongs on Collect. I mean, let's not
Yeah.
be silly here.
Yeah, 100%. Have I talked to you about DEVVE or Fias?
I think you've mentioned before. I'm not terribly familiar with the projects though.
So for Fias, like 95% of the core platform, what it's doing, it's already built. So it's not like something like, hey, we want to build this, we need funding for it. But it's an AI company. You have exclusive rights for AI for the DevX platform. So the DevX platform, that's already funded. That's got like 16 million in funding. It's got hundreds of thousands of man hours, expertise in blockchain. the DevX blockchain has like 8.5 million transactions per second. This is what it's built on. The guy's a senior dev. They do 8.5 million transactions per second. They have a insane problem that they solved where the AI market's like $500 billion, give or take, and it's going to be multiple trillions of dollars in by like 2030. But the monetization is generally for these types of things fundamentally broken. So the specialized models that they've developed for each customer that wants to build on their platform has the sharding technology where they could spin up to where it's legally compliant in every corner of the world, regardless of what the restrictions are, because they could just spin up a new blockchain for them. Purpose tools, I gave them 25K already. I don't have a ton of their token because the last few years, the best performers that I've had have been in these startup companies, and it's just I mean, I could talk to you off camera about it or off air about it, and we could do that now if you want, but that's probably the best. Like I chose, like I could have bought another, 100 million OMI or 200 million OMI, or I could have bought a bunch of partner statues, but I gave him that because I already have a decent amount of OMI and a decent amount of collectibles, not as much as you, obviously. But that's one of the things that I think will go crazy, like it did with DMA Link for me. That went nuts. Same thing with Bloomsbury Money. I'll talk to you about it off air if you want, but that's one of the things that I would highly suggest that I introduce you to the CEO.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds interesting. Definitely curious.
Okay. Let's shall we talk off air for a little bit? Because there's a couple of other things I want to talk to you about as well.
Yeah, on air and off air?
Off air.
Yeah. Well, are you gonna make your people wait?
Oh, I was just gonna end it because I've been live for an hour and a half, so I was gonna end it right now.
Oh, okay.
And then I'd get back to live, tomorrow. But then we'd talk for a little bit here if you have the time.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm
All right, let's get this bread. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. We love you. This is awesome.